I'm Annie.
And I'm Leah.
And this is Lactation Business Coaching with Annie and Leah, where we talk about the smart way to create a compassionate and professional private practice.
Let's dive in.
Well, hey there, Leah.
Hey there, Annie. How are you?
I'm great. We have a special guest on with us today, Shelly Taft. We just finished up our deeper dive into sleep coaching with Shelly, and we just still wanted to chat a little bit more with her. It was so much fun. We had great attendance, and this is kind of our time to talk just as Annie and Leah about how we feel about all of this.
Like a debrief.
A little debrief. It was so great to hear how you navigate those nuances of managing lactation and sleep coaching. And I guess like another follow-up question I have for you is like, how do you take care of yourself in all of this? And not just to like as a business owner, somebody in private practice, but also just I can imagine that carrying the weight of people's sleep problems. And like you said, you're doing 4 weeks of messaging, really intense follow-up with them. What are some of the ways that you help take care of yourself in all of that?
It's going to sound like a lot of the corny stuff that a lot of people roll their eyes about, and I did too, but works actually. Like, I journal and meditate every morning. I used to like get up and go to the gym at 4 a.m. and just hit the ground running. And I have found through trial and error and therapy that I function best when I have a slow morning where I wake up. I wake up early still. I wake up like 4 or 5. But I sit in bed and I drink my coffee and I journal and then I meditate and then I color and like it just sets up the pace for the day so that even if it is a busy day, because I started off nice and slow, the rest of the day continues to feel nice and slow. Whereas when I was getting up and like hitting the gym, my cortisol levels were like flying
Yeah.
up. And then the rest of the day I'd be like, on guard, So
I know Leah has a great morning routine as well. Like your version of the slow start is all the bird watching that you do.
I'm just turning old. They say when you start like really paying attention to birds, you're probably in your midlife. And I'm like, yep, 50 this year. Thanks so much for noticing.
you have the Merlin app?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've
I
got
do
all
bird
the
watching too.
things. I mean, I've got the binoculars. I'm like out hiking every morning, finding my little birds that we have made friends. We find each other. It's a whole thing. I'm lost in it. But also, I'm sure that as you've had this evolution of like recognizing the things that kind of bring your nervous system in line, which is like an evolution that I'm on too, is like same, like thinking, go, 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 like race to the finish line is the plan of the day.
Mm.
And like totally revamping, like even when I start my consults, I've pushed everything back to 10, which seems like such a luxury. Like I just don't do anything till any work stuff till 10 because of this very fact that like I'm noticing that it helps so much with my nervous system. But I'm wondering how much that then like, has played into how you've shift some things with your families and, like, things that you're talking about. Because I feel like I'm bringing in more and more, like, nervous system regulation stuff, the more I'm seeing, like, "Whoa, okay, this is powerful. We should be paying attention to this." Even though I've heard it for, like, so long. Isn't it funny how you, like and then when you experience it yourself, you're like, "Hey, these people actually know something. They're onto something with
Yes,
this."
100%. And I think that getting certified as a sleep coach is what kind of brought my attention to that, because in both trainings, Babel Mia and Lindsay Hookway's training, there is a big section on regulation, not just for the baby, but for the parents too. And so I was learning a lot like of ideas of like how to self-regulate myself and then helping my family self-regulate too. And I always like kind of do like, oh, you're gonna roll your eyes at me, but try some deep breathing. And then a lot of times they do come back and they're like, dude, that worked. And sometimes they're kind of mad about it. They're like, that worked. It also has made me a better provider when it comes to boundaries. Like last year was the first year that I was like, I'm not checking messages on weekends or responding to messages on weekends anymore. And for me, that was always I was always on call 24/7. And now I'm like, I'm off. I'm completely off on weekends now. that has helped a lot where, I have to make it very clear to the families, if you message me on the weekend, I'm not going to respond. But then by the time Monday comes around, I feel like I've gotten a break, and then when I do open up my message and see those blocks of text from the sleep client, I'm regulated and I can be like, "Okay, let's focus and just get this answered." Versus when I was answering messages, 7 days a week, I'd open it up and just have that feeling of dread when I'd see, like, the blocks of text. Like,
I know that feeling of dread is like such a like constant bugbear in the work that we do. I think it's so funny you said that about like the deep breathing because I recently had somebody suggest if you do a extra long exhale, your body knows that it's safe and it'll like help you if you're feeling like a adrenaline surge like from
yeah.
stress, which is something I've been dealing with. And I did it and it worked, and I did actually feel a little, like, mad. I was like, "What do you
Yeah.
mean? Like, I could I have been doing this my whole life?" Like, and I never believed it, and I love to, like, talking about, like, the nervous system regulation. I'm definitely, like, on the same page with you guys about that because 'cause I've been talking lately when I talk about skin to skin, I've been talking about, like, it's good for you too. Like, the skin to skin tells your body that your baby is safe in, like,
Mhm.
a way that your brain can't. And I'm like, "Listen to me." Like, hold your baby, it helps you, it really does.
That's my favorite form of breathing is the 4-4-8-4, where you inhale for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, exhale for 8, and then you hold it for 4, and then you start it again. That was the first, like, deep breathing like you that I tried, and it worked
It
wonders.
was your
And I tell
gateway
my kids
breathing
to do that
technique.
too.
The gateway breathing technique, that's what gets you hooked, you know?
Yeah.
It is really funny because I am, like, so much have rolled my eyes for years because I was, like, entrepreneurial vibes, do all the things, like, that you don't need to sleep, you don't need to do anything other than, like, grind harder and, like, get more stuff done, to-do list will get done before anything else, like, that kind of mentality, and it's so funny because 'cause I'm, like, no wonder where I got where I was, but also really annoying that, like, I could have done this all so differently and maybe bypass some of the not fun parts of always hustling, you know?
Yeah, the hustle culture is huge, and I have definitely come close to burning myself out. But one of the things I do like about our culture as Americans, because we do have culture, right? Is that we're very complimentary to each other and we're very encouraging, right? So in general, people in the United States want to see other people succeed and cheer them. We cheer each other a lot, even if it's just yelling out a compliment to a street. And I did not realize that that's not so much the norm in other countries and other
Mm,
cultures. That a lot of other cultures, especially in Europe, are more reserved and they don't compliment each other as easily as we do. And it's weird to like make small talk, and they're more reserved because they're afraid of failure a lot more than people in the United States, where we're encouraged to take the risk. We're encouraged to be the risk taker. And that can very easily snowball into the over hustle culture where you do burn yourself out taking that risk and trying to make it work. And so taking a step back, and for me, it was my husband who was like, "Can we talk about this? Because you're smoking at the ears. You're so burnt out and crispy by the end of the day." And it wasn't something that I was necessarily seeing on my own. It took someone that I loved and that loved me and supported me to say something. And he was the one that was like, "Can you please stop checking messages on weekends? Because I just wanna see you get a break." And that was nice that I have, a husband like that that is able to call me out when I need to be called out.
I had the same conversation happened in my house, and where my husband was like, "I'm worried you're gonna die, like, you never stop and you're not happy." And, I had to really revamp a lot of things that I was doing, starting with getting my weekends back and just making that a non-negotiable for myself to be like, it doesn't matter, like, whatever I think I wanna do or whatever I think I wanna get done does not matter as much as my rest and being with my family. But it is really hard because I do like to get ahead of things, fighting against my own self. My morning routine, I also like a slow start. I like to have time to myself when I first wake up, and I do all of the puzzles of the New York Times. I do Wordle, I do Connection, I do the mini, I do the full crossword, and I do spelling bee. I save spelling bee for last because sometimes it takes me all day, but I do all of those every morning, and it really like it's like a massage for my brain because it's like it makes me feel like I'm doing something, but I really enjoy it. It's fun. It has no stakes at all. Like I'm the only one that knows if I succeeded or failed. And it's just like, but I also feel like I did that. Like it's so satisfying when you get the crossword and it tells you you did it. So, letting myself be like, I am going to start the day with play and not with my task list and not save that for the end of the day. Like, let
Right.
me have my dessert first.
Don't even check your email. I turn my email notifications off. I also do, like, an affirmation card of the day, and then I pull a tarot card of the day
Oh,
too
cool.
that I just like to, like, what is it telling me that I need to know today? And then, Annie, I do have you to thank a lot too because I had a lot of guilt over not answering messages on the weekends because it was always like, "Oh, my clients need me. What if there's an emergency?" But then I'd hear your voice in my head saying, "Lactation consultants are not emergency providers." And I was like, "Yeah, of course Amy's right." Like, if there's an emergency, they should be calling their pediatrician or 911, not me, right? So that's when I was able to kinda, like, let it go.
I need to listen to you because I did decide maybe 6 weeks ago, I was like, "You know what I'm gonna do every morning is I'm gonna meditate just for 2 minutes." 2 minutes I could do. Like, I could definitely meditate for 2 minutes. And I'm like, "This is gonna be how I'm gonna, establish this new thing that I'm gonna do for myself." Guess how many times I remembered that I wanted to get up and meditate for 2 minutes at the beginning of the day? 1 time.
Fun.
I did it once, I was like, "That was amazing," and then weeks went by and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot that I was wanted to do this." So, I need to follow your lead of, like, just doing it. I
It's all
like
about
what
the
you
habit stacking. That's what I have
Yes.
found, like,
I
it's
use
I have
Habit Nest. Have you heard of that? Habit Nest?
No, what's that?
It used to be just books. I had all their books, then they switched to the app. But they do like, you can pick different habits that you want to develop, and one of them is meditation, then there's, like, a gratitude habit, there's, like, a morning habit, there's, like, fitness habits. But I like it because it just starts you off very slow and it builds on it. So it's not like, okay, now you have to jump in and do, 15 minutes of meditation 5 days a week because we're gonna feel at that. But it's like, okay, we're gonna start with like a 2-minute meditation and we're gonna start with 2 days a week. And then it builds off of that so that you're less likely to fail, right? And then you get frustrated because that's what I do. I'm a perfectionist. So if I don't do it right, I tend to like, I'm not gonna do it. If I can't get it perfect, I'm not gonna do it, and that's something that I've been working on a lot, like, not letting my perfectionism get in the way of my progress, and I do bring that up to families a lot too, now that I'm working on it. But that might be something to check out.
We'll put a link in the show notes, Habit Nest. I That sounds really appealing to me. I would like more good habits. I would like to make my mornings even more chill than they are, and yeah, I think, like, following up with this whole, like, just how great that conversation was about incorporating the sleep coaching. I guess, like, sleep is an area, like, I just feel so defeated around it with those questions, especially when I feel like I only have lactation answers for you. Like, I can't argue with biology to a certain degree. So I think it was encouraging for me to hear that you have people that actually like you're doing it. Like you've figured that piece out or you're like that's navigatable and not like a roadblock like it feels like for me.
Yeah, and I think just, for those out there who don't wanna do sleep consults, but maybe want a little bit more knowledge to give to families, reading some of those books I recommended, reading the Gentle Sleep book or the No Cry Sleep Solution, because there are, like, quick little tips that you can give. Like, the most common is, he won't sleep unless he's sleeping on top of one of us, right? Which is totally normal. But we go over, like, okay, when is the best time to transfer him? 15 to 20 minutes after the baby falls asleep is when they enter their deepest sleep state. So they're less likely to wake up when you transfer them. How do you transfer them? Do you just move them off your body and put them down? They're going to wake up. Hold them close, put them down butt first, then slowly onto their back and then pat them. And then like wearing the bassinet sheets in the breastfeeding parent's bra for the day so it smells like them. That can be helpful too. And in Lindsay Hookway's training, she calls these a low-hanging fruit, the quick changes that don't take a lot of effort but can make a difference. Putting socks on the baby's feet. I had a sleep consult where the baby kept waking up, and they had an older house, so it was really hard to get to, like, regulate the temperature of the baby's room, and I was like, "Sometimes they wake up because their feet are cold. The rest of them are not cold, but their feet are cold." We put socks on that baby, and he started sleeping 6 hours straight. So
Wow.
sometimes it is, like, the simplest, easiest, lowest effort thing, and we always start with that. Even when I'm doing, like, a full-blown sleep consult, we always start with the low-hanging fruit because they can make a big difference, and then you don't have to get into all the other things.
And I think the reminder that you also mentioned that we talked about first was, like, it's really hard to just leave I called it a gaping hole of, like, "This is biologically normal and sad for you," but, like, I have nothing else to offer. And so I love the idea of, like, even if we're not like, "Hey, we're gonna be full on sleep coaches and add this into our business," and stuff like that, but we can be supportive of how can we help this family navigate sleep in a healthy and low-hanging fruit way without, like, fully taking on. And I think it's definitely an area that lactation consultants are facing, like, literally every day. I think I've talked something about sleep, so it's an area that deserves our attention just as much as, like, knowing about mental health and those kinds of things because, again, all of that ties in together, like you so well pointed out.
Yes, and knowing where to send families too, like, I would recommend establishing a relationship with the local doula trainings, like, whoever's doing the local doula trainings in your area because most doulas who are going through the training and they're getting certified will do very low fee or free for the first 3 families, which I have an opinion on that, but that's what they're doing they're doing. And so, I do have a lot of families where the baby is under 4 months and what's going on is normal. There's nothing wrong with what baby is doing, but they need more sleep and they need more support and they just don't have it. They don't have family nearby. They don't have a budget to hire an experienced night doula or a night nanny. But you can connect them with doulas in training who are willing to work within their budget, and then they can get the support they need, and the doulas get the certification because the family will in return write them a review. So yes, they're working with someone who has less experience, but still, like, they've been through the training. So connecting families with that, like, at all levels of resources that they might need is very helpful as a lactation consultant too.
That is a great tip. I'm definitely, like, gonna go look that up when I get off this call because you said, like, yes, they're working with somebody more experienced, but they're also working with you or with me or with Leah. They have another person on the team. So they're not just gonna be left with just this one person. I also loved you brought this up, and we'll wrap this up, but I loved that you brought up in a deeper dive that when you first got started, you paid a mentor to coach you through your first couple of clients that you had to make sure that you were doing that. I love that so much. And we're never too experienced not to need help anyway, but just be so upfront and say, I need this and I want to make sure that I'm doing this the way it needs to be done. I love that you took that approach and it's definitely something that, I really wanted to call out on this little after show podcast as well.
Yeah, and she was, like, so helpful and really helped me learn a lot because she has so much experience, really, like, provided me a lot more education beyond what I learned in the course. She's actually in the UK, so the time difference was a little bit of a struggle, but I knew going in and she always made these interesting comparisons between American culture and UK culture, where she was always surprised when a parent of a 4-month-old would reach out to me. Like, "Why do you have so many parents with 4-month-olds who want sleep?" And it's, cultural differences, right? But it was always so interesting to learn, like, how she approached it, which is based on her experience because she had an extensive experience and bringing in ideas that we didn't necessarily learn in the training, but aligned with the training philosophy of not crying and respecting the biological norm. So I found that extremely helpful and worth every penny that I paid to her.
That's awesome.
My husband did have a medical event a few years ago, and I had some sleep clients, and I couldn't maintain the care while I was dealing with my husband's medical and it was very nice for me to be able to say, "I'm going to send you over to Chloe, and she's gonna take over, and you're gonna get the care that you need because I can't do it right now." And that was really nice too.
That's great.
Yeah, so great to have that referral establishment, referral relationship already established too, and you know how she works, so you can feel really confident in referral. It's what we all need with every aspect. It's like
Definitely.
having those
Thank you
confident.
so much for doing the deeper dive with us and for sticking around for this after show. We'll put a link to your podcast and your socials in the show notes for the podcast so people can find you and follow you and refer sleep clients to you. You're on our care plan. So I don't know if anybody ever calls you, but you're
I get a
you're
lot of
one.
people from you, Amy.
Yes, that's
Yes.
good. Perfect. That's all I want, is I want all of us to be working together. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next month for our next month's deeper dive, and yeah,
Thanks so
thanks
much.
everybody.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend and leave us a review. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.